Hey there YouTube, this is SGM4306 back with another video. I reviewed this guy, it's got to be going on 2 years old, and this is a permanent everyday carry for me. I keep this in my backpack, and I've used the heck out of this. You can see just how scuffed up this has gotten, and this is probably one of the most useful one of these wireless keyboard iterations that I have in my possession. It has like the perfect size touchpad, just within perfect reach of your thumb, and it has all these extra buttons, and this is actually an IR remote. So hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, you can see that. You can program each of these keys using any type of IR remote, and it'll remember them. Anyway, not to fawn too much over this, I've reviewed this in the past, and they actually have an updated model that iPazzPort emailed me about, and I was definitely interested in it, seeing as I use the heck out of this thing, and this is probably one of the best wireless keyboard that I've ever used, like one of these hand-sized wireless keyboards, that is. Anyway, their new model, what actually interested me, not looks or anything, it looks very similar. What actually interested me is this is actually dual mode. This does Bluetooth as well as the age-old RF dongle. So this guy actually requires the use of this 2.4 gigahertz RF dongle. And if you lose that, then you can't use this keyboard, unfortunately. And that's the only way. You need a spare USB port to to connect to any device. So that was sort of a bit of a downfall of it. So this guy, however, actually connects via Bluetooth as well as having a separate dongle, and you just choose whichever one suits your purposes. Anyway, it's enough out of that. Let's see what's inside. So you get, of course, a micro USB cord, and interestingly enough, it also has a female port. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Obviously, this ends for power. But, maybe that's like to pair the dongle to it or something. Anyway, we have a sort of user manual here. Basic instructions how to set it up, etc., etc. We have the device itself in one of these really nice protective baggies. I like to keep those. Anyway, we have the device itself here, and it looks a little bit different than this model in particular, but looks very similar to other models that I've seen on the market. And you can see, actually, if I'm being honest, I actually prefer this kind of design where it feels like a game controller. This one, it's a little bit thicker in the center, obviously, and it doesn't have the contours. This feels all right, I guess. I do slightly more prefer the older design. But anyway, if we fire this on, let's see where the power switch is. It's on top. We have the micro USB for charging. Let's see if there's any power, and there is. And let's see, you should be able to adjust the backlight color. Like the old one has a bulb symbol in the corner there. Let's see if we can find it on here. Yeah, so it's looking like I'm actually going to have to charge this up first. You can see the LED starts to dim pretty quickly the longer I leave it on. So I'm going to put this on charge. Well, let's just go through and see. The battery, of course, is the venerable BL5C. It's a Nokia battery clone. And these are everywhere, so they're really easy, cheap to find. That's good. Looks like there was an option for AAA batteries, interestingly enough. They didn't install it. We are going to tear this open just to see if there's a circuitry, if you soldered the springs, if you could use that. That'd be a neat option to have. And we have the USB dongle here. And this is for RF operation. Bluetooth, obviously, you do not need that for. Anyway, I'm actually going to plug this in to charge. Looks like it only came partially charged. And run this through a few tests, and I'll demo it for you guys. Okay, so there's one thing I found. One thing that's actually pretty big. So as I've noted, this does RF as well as Bluetooth, right? So you think that you would just pair it to it over Bluetooth, and I'll demonstrate here. I have my tablet, and on Bluetooth, turn this guy on as well, and we are going to switch the function key, and F1 switches what mode it's in. So yeah, so when the blue light's on, I believe that's Bluetooth, and when this, I believe it's a red or an orange light, that's RF. Anyway, it's in pairing mode right now. It's blinking away. And let's see if I can find it. I believe it was just called Bluetooth keyboard, and there you can see when I click on it, it'll like start to bind to it, sees it, says an app is needed to use this device. For convenience, you have to download and install an app. Now I'm not going to use it that way with my tablet, for instance, but what I actually intended to use it for is I have this little Android projector, and this is a Vankyo. I reviewed it in a past video, and I love this thing, but biggest downfall, only one USB port. So yeah, sure, you could take out the dongle here, plug it in, and it works perfectly, no modification, as is. It's great, but then you don't have any extra USB ports, so I can't plug in an extra thumbstick and play movies off of like USB. So yeah, I could drag a hub, but now instead of just having this tiny projector, I have a dongle hanging off the back with multiple USB ports. That's not ideal either. So I wanted to use this, just pair over Bluetooth directly, control this over Bluetooth, and then just have a regular USB stick hanging out the back for my content. And I can do that, but it looks like I'm going to have to actually download an app. So let me look and see. I'll install the app, get it set up, and then demo it working over Bluetooth. So at least I know it works over Bluetooth, and I can set it up on my projector on my own time. But let's see how easy or hard that is to do. Okay, so I looked through the manual. Am I doing something wrong? I couldn't find any links to any apps, and it kept giving me that error. So I deleted that, and I redid it, and it actually connected now. So no, this actually works as, you know, a Bluetooth HID device. I was wrong. So there's probably some software hiccup. It could have been my tablet, honestly, because I updated this a little while ago, and now the software is a little bit glitchy. I probably had to clean out like the cache partition or something. But anyway, I did get this to work, and I'm using this in real time now. And let's see, home. I can just go home, and I can scroll through everything. Yeah, it works. I'm happy. That's all I wanted. Just so that I can just directly connect over Bluetooth, and I can just open YouTube or whatever I want, navigate through. If I use the touchpad, a little tiny mouse comes up. You can see there I'm wiggle-waggling it. And I can just scroll through things. Let's see if multi-touch works. So 2 fingers to scroll down. Yep, works perfectly. Yeah, so all in all, I'm happy with this now. This does exactly what I want it to do. Over Bluetooth as well as RF. RF I can give you a demo of, but I mean I've shown RF working on this guy. So yeah, just to let you guys know, to switch into Bluetooth, you press function and F1, but to go back to RF, you have to press this like tilde key. It has a refresh symbol or something there in blue next to it, and that'll put it into pairing mode for the RF. And it does seem to pair up pretty quickly now. I just turned it off and on, and it just sort of, I did have to mess around with the changing it back to Bluetooth, but yeah, that works. The backlight mode on all the keys, it does blue, off, red, and green. I like the green because it's easiest to see. Now let me shut the blinds and show you guys something. The keys, some of them look fine. Some of them you can see there's like unevenness on the black silk screening. This is purely aesthetic. This will not affect functionality. If I look at this, I can still tell what all the buttons are. So it's just a little bit like it's some speckling coming through the black of the keys themselves. So it's just small things like this that make it feel cheaper. And I think it's something that even their older keyboard, where's the power switch on this guy, was much nicer. There we go. Okay, this has a separate key just for lighting. You can see this is quite a bit more even, and there's no speckling or anything. I think in general, this one just looks and feels a little bit nicer, and I like the placement of the touchpad a little better than this style. This will work just fine, of course. It's just, I think they downgraded just a little bit in terms of the design aesthetics, as well as kind of ergonomic usability. I like the older model a little bit better, but in terms of functionality, going Bluetooth definitely was the right way to go. Having both Bluetooth as well as the RF dongle, this gives us, I can use this with any device pretty much guaranteed, as long as it either has Bluetooth or a USB port. So yeah, I'm hoping to see maybe in the next model, fuse the two of these together. Use the same shell as this, where this feels great to hold. Move the touchpad back over to the side so you can easily reach it. A button layout on this I really like. And I would like them to see them keep the IR controller, because this is really useful. You can train all these buttons. I can train this for my projector, so I can turn on and off, my projector using the same remote that I'm using to control, an Android system or whatever, Android TV box. So yeah, I actually, it's really tough because this is a solid product as well, but I think I would like to see them merge, and kind of just basically take this model and add Bluetooth to it, because this was my ideal controller. I use this for absolutely everything. The only thing that I feel that this is lacking is that Bluetooth HID mode. But I know, yeah, overall, I think this retails for about like 20-ish bucks, which isn't bad. These guys, I mean, I've had this for probably close to like 2 or 3 years, and I've used it, not every day, but I've used this pretty heavily, just with like my home entertainment system and whatnot, and I absolutely love these remotes. Now, give me one sec. I'd like to commend iPazzPort for doing the smart thing. Now, I have another one of these remotes, which I hate touching. This guy, and you can see it looks very similar to kind of both of them. This is, I don't even know what brand this is. This is some random no-name brand. But they put that disgusting rubber texture on it, which feels great when you unbox it, but a couple of years down the line, it starts getting sticky, and that's what this is starting to do. I can kind of feel it's disgusting. I'm going to put this down now so I don't have to touch it. So yeah, that's a bad thing to do. iPazzPort, all their devices, they have textured grips, but it's textured into the plastic. It's all matte plastic. So definitely 100% huge kudos on that. This will feel the same 10 years down the line versus today. There's no rubber to deteriorate, maybe other than possibly the keypad, but I'm pretty sure this is silicone, not rubber. The keypad definitely feels more silicone-y, so that will withstand the test of time. Okay, before I forget, let's just quickly pop this open. I just took out the 4 screws, and it should just kind of open. There we go. So here we have the back. It's just molded with some pressure points, which also they very nicely put silkscreen on, so obviously they knew exactly where it would be applying pressure on the board. But yeah, most of the back shell is actually empty, and it's just one really thin PCB, so yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. They basically goes in line with this. You can make these very thin in that case. The back is just for, I guess, ergonomics. We have 2 chips here. I'm guessing this is going to be the main chip. You can see all the traces going across. So clearly this is doing the key scanning. It's like a matrix. We have the touch panel here. You can see kind of this very interesting array of traces that forms the the X and the Y electrodes basically, and that's when you touch it. When it scans through, it can detect the coordinates, 2-dimensional coordinates of where you're touching, and those go right to this chip. So that's going to be the capacitive touch controller. And we have the main crystal oscillator, and it looks like the antenna for the wireless, I'm guessing both Bluetooth and RF, is handled by this main chip as well. We have the power switch, USB, micro USB port, a small chip here. It's a 6-pin SOT23-6, and I'm guessing that's for a lithium battery, because it's right next to this USB input. And yeah, you could see the contacts for the, if you wanted to use AAA batteries there. We have some discrete transistors here. I'm guessing that might actually be for driving the RGB LEDs. We have some test pads. I can see already SDA and SCL1. So that's I2C, 3.1 volt DC, VDD1. And we have interrupt, I guess, between the main chip and the capacitive controller. So that probably interrupts when you touch the panel. We have a little header here. I'm guessing that's a programming header. We have the battery connector for the LiPo. And let's see, we should be able to just kind of, yeah, there's some clips along the bottom. And there are 2 clips just under the touchpad. No screws once you're inside. They clearly optimized. And really, there's not much to see here. It does use SMD discrete RGB LEDs. And they're pretty evenly spaced. They're pretty close together, so that'll give the even lighting. We have the indicator LEDs for like the low battery and the connection status, whatnot. And yeah, and we just have a little bit of something here. Looks like adhesive. And we have the touch panel, which is just the PCB and a sticker that they put on. That's pretty interesting. It's just stuck on with adhesive. And we have all the buttons here. And it's just molded and printed with the actual symbols on them. And you can see, yeah, from the light in the background, it's just lighting up the back of the key, and the clear parts shine through. So yeah, all in all, pretty simple construction. I have no doubt that this will outlast me, likely. Let's see if we can get it back together first off, though. So yeah, anyway, this was a quick look at this iPazzPort remote. If you guys have home entertainment devices and you're currently using a silly IR or even an RF like candy bar style remote, get one of these. You'll thank me. Just trust me. Navigating anything beyond just like a stock smart TV interface. If you have like a home computer setup, like a home theater PC, this guy is invaluable. You can use this both with like quick shortcuts as well as to navigate like a normal computer interface. So this is absolutely ideal. And actually another good use for this, I've used this to give presentations. So I'll have like PowerPoint open and you can actually use the arrow keys just like a keyboard arrow key to navigate. And if you accidentally exit out or something, you can use the shortcuts to go back into presentation mode. You can flick through slides easily with the touchpad. This is actually really good, both for business as well as for personal entertainment use. So I know, yeah, I just want to thank iPazzPort for hooking me up with this. So currently, this guy is going to live in my backpack like it did for the last few years. And this guy is going to go on my coffee table in front of my TV and will be used heavily for entertainment purposes. So anyway, if you guys are interested, I will have links down to the sales page below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.